massive entity.
What was groundbreaking about The Godfather was the realism it showed, and also the way it married history with family intimacy.
Before The Godfather, most organized crime films were told only from the point of view of law enforcement, and the gangsters were one-dimensional creatures.
People love The Godfather because the little traditional cultural things that make Italians Italian. The wedding, the cooking.
It was the first film that gave you a sense of what it's like to be within the home of a mafia leader. The Marlon Brando character, we're really showing the American public something of interior life.
Godfather was Mario Puzo's idea of what the mob should be.
The mob has become such a mainstay of popular culture that we've demystified them. We've taken them out of the shadows and into the suburbs.
The mafia is an underground enterprise, and it is there to provide illegal goods and commodities and services, drugs, prostitution, extortion.
Yes, the mafia does exist today, and we know this because we get it from the mouths of the very people involved. Recently, Joe Massino testified as a government witness about the structure of the Bonanno crime family and also how he was active in the crime family today.
In the age of technological surveillance, it is no longer feasible for mafiosi to stand out on the street and show what they are. They no longer own mansions and have private airstrips. They live in little houses. They dress like construction foremen. But the mafia continues to exist in the 21st century as a major player in global organized crime.
Coming up, we pull the veil off secret societies and their followers, from the famous to the faithful. Secret societies. Are they manipulating the headlines, pulling the strings of government, controlling the banks and the media? Or are they just figments of our imagination?
What has us so enthralled and intrigued with secret societies partially is about secrecy itself.
People love the mystique of secret societies, the exclusivity. It's almost like a little celebrity culture in there, and people always wonder what goes on behind closed doors.
The mafia may be America's most notorious secret society, but some of our most virtuous institutions harbor strange secrets too.
Every religion has its secrets. In Mormonism, you have the secret underwear. Basically, they're undergarments with printed symbols on them that protect the wearer from evil.
There are certain monasteries within Buddhism and Hinduism that non-initiated people cannot go into. You find the same thing within the Catholic Church. There are catacombs that you cannot enter without the permission of the Vatican.
While some faiths are a total mystery to outsiders, some even mystify their own followers. Take Kabbalah, a little understood practice based on the mystical aspects of Judaism.
Strictly speaking, there's nothing secretive about Kabbalah, but within Jewish tradition, for example, a man wasn't supposed to start studying Kabbalah until he was over the age of 40.
Kabbalah teachings are secret because they're very, very difficult. And they promise that if you do things right, you will have extraordinary power.
And it draws in some powerful people. In 1996, Kabbalah scores its most high-profile follower in Madonna.
Madonna became interested in Kabbalah through a contemporary school called the Kabbalah Center. They have reinterpreted and updated the tradition for modern people.
But in 2011, Madonna allegedly abandons Kabbalah for the equally cryptic Catholic sect called Opus Dei.
Opus Dei has the Catholicism of her girlhood in it, and they do the same kind of outreach that the Kabbalah people do. They cultivate important people.
Opus Dei was founded in 1928 by a young Spanish priest. The core value of Opus Dei is that saintliness is not just for a few priests, but for all of Christianity.
Opus Dei is a religiously conservative devotional organization within the Catholic Church. It's considered secretive because members were required not to disclose their membership without permission. It also doesn't function under the authority of local bishops. It sort of has a direct line to Rome, so people see it as a secretive elite organization. It was intended to be an organization where ordinary people could go who wanted to deeply intensify their worship and were willing to commit hours each day to it.
Opus Dei members have been criticized for self-flagellation, but it's actually not as extreme as people would have it seem.
This was something that was greatly sensationalized in the Da Vinci Code, although Dan Brown certainly didn't make the whole thing up from whole cloth. There are practices within Opus Dei where certain members will inflict a mild form of physical pain on themselves for purposes of humility and for associating with the suffering of Christ.
So why do these secretive religions hold sway over celebrities?
Celebrities are really drawn to secret religions because it gives them something to believe in that's much larger than themselves.
Religious movements today spend a good deal of time courting celebrities in one way or another. There's a great likelihood that many people in this country today would never have heard of Kabbalah if it weren't for Madonna's involvement. Ours is a society where if you want to interest people in an idea, you attach a celebrity to it.
And no other secret faith is more successful in Hollywood than Scientology. Their membership reads like a who's who of Hollywood's A-list: Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Kirstie Alley, and countless others.
To become a Scientologist, you have to go through a process known as auditing. And every step of the auditing process, you get a little bit more knowledge as to what Scientology means.
The secrets of Scientology are difficult for outsiders to get at, but what seems to have come out is that people rise through these different initiatory ranks within the organization, and when you rise to the pinnacle, you receive the secrets of the origins of humanity and the universe, the secrets of creation, basically.
Scientology was founded by a science fiction writer named L. Ron Hubbard, who said that he had a scientific solution to people's hang-ups. And that became the basis of his best-selling book, Dianetics.
Scientology has a tremendous appeal to people in a psychological age where everyone feels they're working through some kind of depression and anxiety. And Scientology is a religion that tells people that's not fantasy. In fact, you are carrying burdens from past lives that need to be cleared. One of the ways that the organization maintains its secrecy is, first of all, they're extremely aggressive toward critics.
But just how far will Scientology go to protect its secrets?
The director, Paul Haggis, recently defected from Scientology and gave this profile to The New Yorker. And you've never had this happen before because there's a lot of fear for Scientologists who leave that something's going to happen to them.
He claimed that the church was engaged in many abusive practices like splitting up families, requiring different family members not to speak to one another if someone left. He felt that the organization was lying to its members about certain political policies that it was pursuing behind the scenes. Haggis, as a very noted writer and director, was probably the biggest defector from the organization, and it caused an enormous controversy.
But in an age of pervasive media, can any secret stay under wraps these days? Coming up, it's secret societies versus the internet, and the results might surprise you. Secret societies have existed for millennia, but with the advent of the internet, they've gone viral. And as the problems in our complicated world increase, people look for easy answers. Conspiracy theories and their proponents are multiplying.
So many conspiracy theorists, literally going back to the 18th century, have been telling the same story, that there is an elite that wants to take religion away and wants to take governments away and wants the world to be run as a one-world government.
What is a conspiracy theory? If we start questioning what the government is telling us, then they just attack people. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theories emerge because there's something inherently suspicious about some people having more power than others. It's completely natural for people to wonder, well, what is the government really up to?
Two critics of secret societies have built massive web followings: Alex Jones and Mark Dice. While fans call them activists, others say they're just good old-fashioned conspiracy theorists.
Mark Dice is an author and activist who's created an online community called Renaissance, and he basically promotes the idea that the Illuminati still exists today.
They've created front groups, the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Bohemian Grove. These are modern extensions of the Illuminati.
Another